Trickle, 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 trickle. These are water drops. These are water drops. These are philanthropy energy drops. These are philanthropy energy drops. These are drops of little bits of philanthropy energy from the spurt that is spigoted, that is spurted, that is spouted, that is spurt. And now these are little energy drops of philanthropy energy that have burst, and they've come through the pipes, and they are now leaking onto the ground, and they come from different directions around a circle, and there's a bit of sorcery happening, and there's a bit of a Harry Potter center element to the vibe of this podcast. Welcome to the news, welcome to the news, welcome to the news. And what I also mean is like a little bit of a witchcraft circle, and also in the center of that circle there is a 5-point star. And from those different elements of the star, there's actually more points than that. And from those different points and those different parts, like water is infinite. It can be broken up into one of those smallest elements of varying elements that can be broken up to be able to separate itself. And so from all these different ways that that water, the element, can be separated, and philanthropy energy is even more fine. It can break into even more parts and particles. So when you dabble those different fine grained parts and particles around the circle in the Harry Potter example, for example, what it is that we're referring to is making a spurt and a spigot into a circle, the philanthropy energy and the water at the same time. There's a spigot and a spurt, and water is a symbol and an analogy of monetary energy at the same time. And so monetary energy and philanthropy energy are working at the same time to be able to combine a new source and a new material and a new chemistry that is philanthropy energy. In essence, philanthropy energy times monetary energy still equals philanthropy energy, because the primary source that philanthropy energy is made from is part of it, part of the particles and part of the chemistry is monetary energy. Monetary energy fits within philanthropy energy, so it is still philanthropy energy. After all. So when we spread the spigot into the circle that surrounds the center of the spigot, that it's not the spigot, but it's the center of the space that the gravity is leaning towards. Gravity is always leaning towards the center of circles, because the center of circles is demand energy that is in the center. So it's kind of like a black hole. It has a pull center into the center of the black hole, and so that demand energy is pulling all of the energy from the sides of the circle into the middle of the circle, and also the sides of the circle and the spout is the center of the circle is also the spout and the spigot and the source. It's actually in between the circles, I suppose. The spigot and the source for philanthropy energy is in the center of the two circles. Actually, the two circles are the generators for the philanthropy energy global giving games grid. The global giving games, the 3D3 POD engine, after all. So, but we're focused on one circle because we're doing the Harry Potter example, and we're focused on one ceremony situation happening around one circle specifically. So, therefore, the energy, the water, the philanthropy energy source is coming from the side of the circle, not the center of the circle, but the energy in the center of the circle is demand energy, which is sucking in like a vacuum, because that's how pools of demand energy work. It is, in essence, the center is a vacuum of demand energy, in essence. So the demand energy in the center is sucking the nature of the energy from the outsides of the circle into the center of the circle, and therefore, when we have particles of water, spigots, and philanthropy energy around the sides of the circle, what we're trying to do, in essence, is draw an example of developing different elements of symbols of philanthropy energy and also monetary energy around the sides of the circle in this ceremony that we're creating right now. It's kind of like a witchcraft Harry Potter situation, circle ceremony in the mid-center. And what it is, it's these little particles that are spread out in fine-tooth comb, little particles around the circle. And so that the interest and the essence and the purpose of the presence of this ceremony is to be able to try to get all of these items to leak into the center at the same time, in essence. So we set it up like a ceremony, and this podcast is like a ceremony, in essence, for the energy, for the philanthropy energy to be able to start to fill into the Global Giving Games philanthropy energy grid that is indicative of and symbolic of the ice rink that's in the sky. The ice rink that's in the sky. It's a philanthropy energy ice rink that's in the sky, and it's filling up with philanthropy energy at the same time. And at the same time, it's indicative of convergence. Convergence is different sources and forms of symbolic energy that stood for and once was like little loans for philanthropy energy and monetary energy. Little loans, in essence, there were empty circles all around the main circle that in essence is trying to fill the main circle by using transposition and transposing symbology and like IOUs. Like IOUs, for example, they're like empty circles, but they stand for the circles eventually being full. And now today we're trying to fill the circles with the element and the essence of philanthropy energy and monetary energy at the same time, combined in a liquid sense that is able to fill the small little baby molecule-sized, cellular-sized circles that are on the outside of the main circle that have been being put together over the years. The small molecule cells of philanthropy energy that are empty, that are IOU cells, are all trying to come together in convergence, because the gravity and the energy from all of the cells being able to combine together are able to combine together enough energy and philanthropy energy, pull and gravity from now the circle being able to develop a lot of gravity, enough gravity in the center of all this, so that all of these little particles on the side of potential energy, in essence potential energy, empty circles, little particle circles of philanthropy energy and monetary energy circles combined on the outside, so that all of this is now trying to develop the greatest pull, because the circle is complete on the outside of the circle ceremony that we're talking about, and all these points of the star, of the points of the different star, gathering the way more than 5 points, is way more, because it's all around the circle, and they're combining like random atoms, like running around the circle, and they're bumping into each other, and they're trying to create energy, like the engine trying to start, like the engine of a car, of a spark plug starting, of a spark starting. And all these energies are coming together in essence to be able to try to start the engine of more so start the engine of the philanthropy energy to continue to start up. And this is to develop convergence of all these little particles to be able to leak into the center, so that energy is in essence the most powerful energy of the ceremony, so that in essence we're developing a new source from today that is in essence a reflection of the past, and all of these little particles combining and connecting energy sources so that they can leak into the center, and that demand source energy is able to fill up, and it like a black hole is able to suck in the energy and develop an internal energy that's like combining internal and external energy at the same time, because that's how black holes work, and it's spurting out new energy at the same time that it's sucking energy in, and so it's kind of like this recycling cycle of energy, and it's like a black hole energy. And so what we're trying to do is use convergence from yesteryears, very many yesteryears. For example, like in New York City, in the Upper East, or Upper West, there's this energy, there's this ceremony, there's this space, there's this place, there's this sacred zone, if you will, and it's next to the park. The park is a very spiritual, witchcrafty space, in essence, in that city. And so we're talking about a space next to that space that we're talking about, in a physical space that's in the realm of a reality, as opposed to just in this podcast, a real space, a real place, that this in essence is taking place, because that's in essence New York City, and is where a lot of my past energy was making this, all of this energy that's talking about potential energy that's stacked up into a circle, and all of these energies are now trying to come into a convergence, into a convergent sense, like water being put into different parts of a circular space, and they're all running downhill into the center, so that all the water is coming together, and it's all combining. It's philanthropy energy water, and it's also monetary energy water combining and connecting. That's also potential energy trying to come together in a business and a philanthropic sense at the same time, so that it's business music coming together, like frequencies and electricity being coming together, flowing together in essence, and it's convergence of different elements that we're trying to set into place in the past, so that all these energies are trying to activate, so that we're all able to continue to have this water center into a similar place, so that in essence this is like an affirmation and a conceptual ceremony to try to activate all of this in essence, because New York City is where we're going next, and that's where the Games for Change festival is happening next, and that's so we're going back to this space and this place potentially to revisit this. And so we want all these energies to be able to reconverge and convergence to happen, because that's what we were trying to have activate before last time in New York City, is to be able to converge all of these energies that we're trying to come together from different ways, and these stories, these narratives, these different podcasts are coming together, like the water coming together as well. It's like convergence in a sense just from the podcast. So the podcast in of itself is indicative of the convergence in of itself. All these like different random episodes are coming together in terms of different energies that are trying to connect like water in the center, and business music is trying to connect them all, and we're trying to bury ourselves at the end of this ceremony. We're trying to bury ourselves like a new format, like a new birthing ceremony situation session, where the lab bat dog is burying himself in all of his chemicals and chemistry of who he is as a lab bat dog, and he's burying himself with podcasts and punk EDM sounds of music making, which is past ambition music making style of using punk style music, as well as combined with EDM, to be able to bury that bat dog logo in the center of this philanthropy energy being streaming to the center, so the convergence is happening in the center, and the bat dog logo is being buried in the center, so that a lot of this energy is coming together, and that the bat dog logo is being buried in the center, so that a lot of it is able to activate, so that it's colored business music energy, all of in the form of electricity, also being coming together. And so under the ground, the soil is being able to try to activate the electricity and the convergence of the water and the philanthropy energy and the monetary energy combining, so it in essence is activating electricity. It's like burying an electricity seed under the ground and trying to activate different electricity under the ground that is colored electricity, that's trying to spurt from the soil of the ground underneath within the black hole, to be able to spurt and expert different light energy, to be able to expand and expound and burst out, like in the form of business music sound, business music energy, spurting out and bursting out in all different directions from the convergence of the energies coming together like a black hole in the center of this Change for Game Studios center place space, with the ceremony of the sparking of the convergence energy back in New York City with past energies, so that all these little side energies are sparking together, and they're illuminating with each other, and they're percolating, and they're starting to leak into the DINKY Tech logo in the center, and the Change for Games space and ceremony space, and the symbolic ice rink that is happening within the symbolic space that is a ceremony space that's in the side of next to Central Park in New York City, next to the lower aspect of Central Park. And so this energy is filling up. It's like filling convergence, so that it's spilling around in the ceremony sense of the DINKY Tech logo, the Black Lab Bat Dog logo under the ground, and we're burying the business music sounds that is symbolic of, is all this business music energy, so that it's hopefully going to be able to spurt up into the sky like rainbows, spurting into the sky, rainbows light from all different directions, but electricity, rainbow light at the same time. So it's business music spurting out from the ground. And we're trying to push that energy over to Europe, in the form of actual music, like punk rock and EDM music, punk rock, EDM music. We're trying to push it through a vessel that is distribution into Europe, pushing that business music sound into an internet source and a force and a place and a space for distribution into Europe, where it's able to hopefully land, and this light is able to illuminate in the form of business music, but actual music like music in the form of punk rock, EDM music, punk EDM music, whereas both these source sounds illuminated and started back in Europe back in the day. And so we were trying to get that energy, that light energy, to coalesce with some of that European energy of the music sounding energy, to be able to start the distribution, some of the distribution of sounds there, to be able to start the element of the essence of the spirit of the nature of the DINKY Tech sound, music sound, punk EDM sounds out there, to be able to start the nature of distribution of sounds out there, to be able to send it through the vessel, to be able to send it through this little bit of a vessel, to be able to spurt and go into this vessel, and which is a tunnel in the sky. It's a tunnel in the sky. It's a distribution source. Tunnel in the sky, going from punk sounds, EDM sounds from the ground, and trying to use convergence to be able to push through this ceremony all of this light energy through this element of Harry Potter sort of style of energy, to be able to help push this little bit of majestic sort of energy ceremony situation for all of these colors and this energy to push through convergence into the sky, bright colors of electricity, to be able to push sounds of punk rock EDM into a new format of a new brand called DINKY Tech and Change for Game Studios, to be able to push and propagate and push and continue to distribute energies into the world, to be able to push philanthropy energy displays and actual films and philanthropy energy displays, to be able to combine that with philanthropy and the essence of music and music collaborations all over the world, to combine different energies and any products, any given philanthropies, any companies, all of these different companies, all combining with music people and different music peoples all from around the world. We'll call that Beyonce Spurla. We call it Beyonce Spurla for Beyonce and Morgan Spurlock. It's like a combination of the two things, Beyonce videos and the video albums, visual albums, combined with Morgan Spurlock movies, which combine a lot of different products to be able to develop different movies that he's done. And we're combining that with philanthropy energy as well as philanthropies, so that those philanthropies are an innate combination, just like Mr. Beast Philanthropy, just like Beast Philanthropy is doing. So he's combining philanthropy within his media, and we're trying to do that at scale with the Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios energy across the world. Oh yeah, and we're starting at the Change for Game Studios. We're trying to go back to New York City, the roots which were birthed in Central Park. In essence, a lot of this foundational energy was birthed in Central Park, so we're trying to reconfigure that, recombine that, re-dig it up, rebury it, and replant it so that it can re-percolate as a new essence, a new configuration in the sound. We're burying sound seeds in the form of business music, so that all that business music reforms and spurts new growth, new energy, new plants all over the world, in the form of video games for good, like at the Games for Change Festival in New York City. That's what we're going to New York City for. We're moving towards that. We're trying to reconnect convergence, New York City energy, as well as the old energies, to be able to develop it with the new energy, the present energy, the podcast energy, all of these energies combined with monetary energy as well as philanthropy energy, to continue to try to grow these energies into plant energy to grow and shoot up and spurt through the tunnel in the sky, which is symbolic and indicative of the distribution energy that's transferring the energy into Europe, hopefully into the distribution pipelines, hopefully within Europe and the sound community in Europe, so to speak, so that hopefully the old grassroots, even older grassroots elements in sound can accept and somewhat just sort of be able to facilitate the nature of the distribution in that arena, to be able to develop it into the older culture within that arena, for the development of the distribution of the Dinky Tech sounds, the Dinky Tech music, in essence, into those pipelines of media pipelines, to develop also a continuous brand that is Change for Game Studios and Dinky Tech, so that hopefully the Change for Game Studios can also spurt into a global arena, which is like an advertising agency and an app development agency almost at the same time, because we're vibe coding marketing processes and we're vibe coding applications at the same time, using newer and innovative technology and partnerships and leveraging as many collaborations as possible at all given times. So we want that to span around the world, just like the Games for Change Festival around the world is spreading and spanning into new spaces and territories, and we're trying to expand and spread our energy in this way, so that we have like a marketing agency and an app development agency at the same time. And this is all spreading on the back end in direct involvement, direct correlation, direct unfolding of the Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios brand, so that all new places and spaces that we're unfolding new paradigms, so that all new logos are spurting out, and all of this energy is fluid within philanthropy energy, and combined with marketing energy, and combined with monetary energy, and combined with app making energy, and combined with NFT and blockchain energy, so that we're fluid with developing the most conceivable possible monetary and philanthropy energy as possible, so that it's just combined into synthetic philanthropy energy throughout the global giving games grid, so that all people can benefit from the philanthropy energy global giving grid around the whole world through global giving Change for Games, games, trying to start at the Games for Change Festival 2025 this year. Hopefully, we can all make it work. We can all make it work together in a collaborative sense. Hopefully, we'll make some new technology, some new products through Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios and global networks, and continuing to invest into this process all the way to the end, all the way until there's until it's just until nothing. It's always consistent, using parent mothership in the ocean and our ice rinks in the sky, so that the world is all one. It can all share, and we have the ability to transmit and transcend and transpose through our satellites and all means to be able to connect all philanthropy energy as best as possible around the whole world as possible, so that everyone's sharing in it. Starting in Asia, we're going to post our first satellite, and then hopefully manufacturing processes to follow, as well as a delegate and a couple of affiliates that were started and such things as soon as today, and such things, and a couple others that are hopefully in the pipelines and such things. So we have these couple of affiliates that are fresh and such things. So we're hoping to populate those as well, and do transpositions, coming up with the value, forward selling commissions that are meant to be made from energy, that's conceptual energy, where you can see it down the line, and you're trading it for upfront energy. You're trading it like it's today. You're trading it and making sales with it. You're trading it and making deals with it, with down the line energy on the upfront of today. And that's how we're trying to continue to make deals, so that we're able to continue to share in progress and processes and profits and philanthropy energy and monetary energy and philanthropy energy, mostly monetary energy transitioning into philanthropy energy around the whole world on the global giving games giving grid, the global giving games grid, the global giving philanthropy energy grid in the sky, in the ice rink in the sky. Come, yes, thank you very much for hanging out, I guess you could say. Thanks that's all for now. Thanks, Dinky Tech. Bye, peace, bye.